Hello indie game fans, welcome back to I Dream of Indie. This is Old Gamer Joe here with another review today as we look at Android Hunter A on the PC Steam platform, releasing as of November 26th of 2020, developed and published by Digiplox. No price was available at the time of this review. They are saying this one could potentially go to other platforms on the game's official website. Those include the Xbox One, the PS4, and the Switch. My assumption there is they're waiting to see the reception and the sales data on this version of the game before they make a final decision. You probably could have seen this one coming, but what happens when Capcom won't give fans the Mega Man X game that they deserve? Well, you get a lot of indie developers that try their hand at it, and that's exactly the case with Android Hunter A, a game that is a clear tribute to the Mega Man X series. Android Hunter A has you playing as a female cyborg as you are tasked with stopping evil corrupt machines from taking over the Earth. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The game starts out in typical Mega Man X style fashion with a tutorial level of sorts that'll have you kinda coming to grips with the main controls, which are, again, pretty familiar to that series. You can cling to walls and kind of jump your way up them. You have a Mega Buster equivalent. You also have a dash, which can be combined with jumping. You're going to need to do this quite frequently in order to clear some of the larger gaps that you'll come across in the game. And you also have a rage meter. As this fills up, you can unleash a really powerful blast that will do serious damage. I generally held on to it for boss encounters. After you have completed that tutorial level of sorts, you'll be greeted with a boss screen where you can take on 8 different baddies in an order of your choosing. These include the likes of Squid Vorhead and the infamous Blaze Tompkin. Whichever boss you choose first and defeat, you are left with their ability upon defeating them, and you can use that ability going forward. Wow, I really just explained how Mega Man works to you. One other little feature of note here is the fact that you can purchase some cosmetic items for your character. These include cute little helmets that you can wear while you're blasting your way through the levels, or even changes to your visor. You'll use the points that you've collected across these levels in order to do so, if you so wish. Outside of that though, your goal is mostly the same, blasting your way through these levels, taking care of the boss at the end, collecting their ability, and eventually getting to the final showdown, where there is a little bit of gameplay variety, but on the whole, that is your goal for this game, just as you would expect. How does it actually feel though? Well, it's honestly a little bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, I think mechanically, it does somewhat successfully emulate the feel of a Mega Man X game, but on the other hand, the level design here is not even close to even the worst games in that series. Pulling off a long-distance jump or a wall climb can feel satisfying and certainly reminiscent of a Mega Man X game, but on the flip side, the level design always bogs this experience down. It's so straightforward, it lacks any charm or personality, and the enemies are just straight up dumb in this game, and that also includes the bosses, which are really easy outside of one that annoyed me quite a bit to figure out and beat with your blaster. There probably are weaknesses that you can use against these bosses. I'm sure there's an order, but honestly, it didn't really matter because most of them are so brain dead you can take them out without any issue. The result of these poorly designed levels and the poor AI is a really boring experience, one that should be exciting but feels really deflating. It feels like a slog. You are timed on these levels, but it just seems to drag on and on. It's mostly a straight line. There's none of the cool nooks and crannies that the Mega Man X series was known for, and I'm not saying that you can't be your own game by any means, but it's pretty obvious this game isn't even trying to be that. It's very much a poor man's Mega Man X. Graphically, Android Hunter A is shockingly bad looking. At one point I looked over to my entertainment system to see if someone had switched my PC with a PlayStation 2. This game looks heinous. I can't believe how poor the graphics are. When you defeat enemies in this title, they burst into a mush of polygonal crap. The levels lack any personality whatsoever. They just look awful. The background's some of the worst I've seen in quite a while, and the enemy design just bland, boring, nothing exciting whatsoever going on in this one. Even your main character, it doesn't really look all that interesting. Just a poor overall visual presentation here, from some low-res textures to the overall art style of this game. It really does miss the mark. Even the bosses look pretty bland and nondescript. Yes, you do get a little bit of dialogue out of them. It's not voice acted at all, but they do shoot out a few lines. It doesn't add anything to these characters whatsoever. Just a really disappointing presentation. Now, I know I mentioned the lack of voice acting there, which is a little bit disappointing. I guess it didn't bother me that much, so much as looking at this game did. But the sound design, how is that? Well, Also misses the mark if I'm being real with you. The sound effects aren't memorable for any reason whatsoever, and the soundtrack is a big missed opportunity as well. Mega Man X has always been known for some excellent musical compositions, and that's not the case here. You get some really generic synth. I wasn't pumped up by any of the tracks in this game whatsoever, and they just sort of drifted off into the background, and I was never even thinking about them. So that's a huge missed opportunity as well. But that's really kind of the story here. The whole game feels like a missed opportunity. The production values of this one aren't really what broke it for me. It was the very poor level design. Yeah, it is an ugly game to look at, and it doesn't sound great either, but it's that level design that I just couldn't look past. While some of the core fundamental platforming elements that you would like of a game in this genre are present, it's not enough to overlook the massive flaws, and I don't recommend checking out Android Hunter A unless you're absolutely desperate for another game that plays like Mega Man. So do you think you'll be checking out Android Hunter A? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you have enjoyed our video coverage today, consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us to bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. There are so many ways you can support I Dream of Indie right down in the description box below. That includes becoming a channel member or even checking out our merchandise store. However you end up supporting us, thank you so much.